How the fuck do you think like death gives you clarity or perspective in life, especially in the things that you want to do in life?
I had a thought experiment,
Mhm.
and in that thought experiment, when I thought of actually dying, if I know at some, let's say in 1 hour I'll die,
Yeah.
the thing that came into my mind is how what else, what exactly can I do right now that can maximize that amount
So in
of
the in
time?
the in the thought experiment, you're like, what if I'm dying in 1 hour? So from now,
Mhm.
in 1 hour, what if I'm
Mm.
dying and there's nothing I can do? I'm absolutely sure I'm dying in 1 hour.
What flooded my mind is
No,
there's a
you
lot
didn't.
of,
You didn't answer the question. What was that? The thought
yeah,
experiment?
that was the thought experiment.
Oh,
That was the thought experiment.
and
It was not
before you
not
continue,
necessarily 1 hour, but if I'm dying soon, I didn't like say 1 hour, but
oh, that
it
that
was
that,
something
that was
about.
the next question I was going to ask. Why is it 1 hour specifically?
So 1 hour is just for context,
Hmm.
but the actual idea is if I know I'm going to die at this point or at this day, how will that influence the things that I do from now until that point when I die?
Hmm.
So at this point, I knew life has a lot of experiences that I want to experience, and now my mind is rushing to see what how fast can I do things. And then I realized the best way to use and this is almost counterintuitive. The best thing I can do is probably one thing, but do it like I'm not dying in 1 hour or I'm not dying in that time frame. And the reason is, if I know I'm dying in 1 hour, and I'll be thinking about death, so I won't be able to enjoy literally anything unless.
Let me just cut you off right there. So like, if you let's say you know you're dying in 1 hour, you're absolutely sure you're dying in 1 hour. You can literally drop everything else and have clarity to do,
One thing.
yeah,
Yes.
and the thing you actually want to do with your life. What the fuck don't we do that like every day? Because in that example, the only consequence is you dying.
Yes.
It's not that. Because okay, let's say somebody
But
is driving to work, and then they know they're going to die in 1 hour. They can just reverse and go do whatever the fuck else they want, and they're not gonna clock in that job,
yeah.
because to them the only consequence is that in 1 hour I'll be dead. That person doesn't give a fuck about pissing off his employer or
Yeah, he
whatever.
doesn't, at that point, he doesn't care. He only cares about living his own life to the best of his ability at that point.
So consequences only make sense when they're contrasted to the duration of time.
Apparently.
You give a fuck about consequences
Apparently.
because you're sure you're gonna be here in 2 hours.
And
Wait,
it's not assured. You're just thinking
it's actually not assured,
it's not assured.
but
It is
you act as if you are sure you're gonna be
exactly.
here
You act as if you are assured.
in the next 2 hours, next week, next month, next year.
So you have an illusion of the time that you will have in this world. So it's wait. So you just live. You live trusting that you won't die.
Yeah, and because
What?
if you live life in the in stages of, what if I'm dying in 1 hour, what if I'm dying in 2 hours, you're not gonna make decisions that are going to lock you now into long-term consequences,
Yeah, there's also that
because you're
perspective.
gonna make like very clear decisions about your existence and your life.
But, on the
So if you're going to die anyway, why don't you just why don't you just like pull that aspect closer to you every day?
and I think that's why it's important to continually think about death.
Yeah, motherfuckers don't think about death
It's
at all.
very hard to
Like
think
people
about
don't
it.
even think about death at all. They're averse, and it's insane because you're going to
You're going to
die.
die, so you rather just accept
It's
it
insane.
and let it
Like
help you
people
make
know
decisions.
it's not about a matter of faith. You know you're going to die. It's not even a debate, but you consciously avoid of thinking about it.
What are you supposed to gain by doing that? By avoiding the fact that you're going to die? because I think the decision that you're more scared of than dying at that moment, but it's also an illusion because you're also afraid of dying.
Wait,
If I ask you
yeah.
between dying and public speaking, for example, if somebody fears public speaking, if I ask you between dying and public speaking, how many would say dead?
You know, it only makes sense when you put it like that. You know, it only makes sense if you put it like that. And some people think that's weird, but it's actually not. Like if you give somebody a choice within anything else in life,
Yeah, literally. Yeah,
and then
everything else.
contrast that by death. Wait, you're gonna do everything else
You're
in
gonna
life
do everything else in life because you know
apart,
you're going.
apart from jumping off a building.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't want to die, but
Obviously, yeah.
but it's a very. I don't know what to think about that because when I thought of if I'm going to die in the next, let's say one day, the perspective that actually immediately came into my mind is when I'm doing something, I should not do it in a rush. Because doing something, for example, if I want to,
Shouldn't you do it in a rush because you're going to die?
no,
Okay.
it's like, for example, if you're watching a movie, it's like rushing through the movie because, yo, I'm going to die, so I need to watch this movie as fast as possible so that I can, for example, eat as fast as possible. I don't know, go do, if you're doing things fast, you're not giving yourself time to experience the fullness of
Well,
whatever you're doing.
I guess if I want to be an asshole, I can say it doesn't really matter if you do things fast or if you do things slow, because you're going to die.
You're going to die.
It's the, so
But I think the best decision is
okay.
if you want to enjoy, then this is funny because if you want to enjoy your next 1 hour, the most valid thing you can do, because you can if you decide to do a lot of things, you will be doing nothing. But you can do one thing and then actually enjoy it.
But somebody, you know, I guess the response to how you're going to take that information will be different from person to person, because another person will be like, I need to do several things that I've never done in life because now I only have 1 hour to live. So if I don't
Yeah,
do the
that's also
things
another perspective.
I've ever wanted, I've never done this, I've never tasted this type of food, I've never texted this person this shit, you know, never traveled. I don't think you can
So
travel
you'll
more
have
than 1 hour.
wait, where is death giving you audacity to do things?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you're alive, why don't we do these things like we are going to die because we are going to die?
And then if death can't motivate you to do anything, what else can?
Apparently, that death coming quicker than you thought. Apparently, because we all know we're going to die.
Yeah, like
But now, when you do this thought experiment of what if it's in 1 hour? Now, apparently, everything becomes clear.
when are you going to die?
Now, apparently, everything becomes clear.
I don't want to think about not being well. I think